Hey. Hey, I want to do a video today about being hurt, but I don't want to attack this in the normal way that we always do. Many times when we talk about being hurt, we always talk about ourselves. We never think about the people that we've hurt, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, because we love to play the victim and we love to say about how people have done us wrong or how somebody has hurt us all the time. But when I look at the people that I've probably hurt in my life and the wrongs that I've done in my life, then it begins to touch my heart, because sometimes we don't realize the scars that we've left on other people. The scars that you leave on other people can cause them to change drastically. And sometimes we just really don't take that in consideration. And it's easy for you to say, well, it doesn't matter, that's in the past. Well, a lot of times we don't consider that when it comes to ourselves. When somebody hurts us, it stays with us and it lingers with us for a long time. The next person that has to deal with that hurt that I left on that person. See, we don't consider none of the things that happen in the chain of events when you hurt somebody. Similar to like when I say, when a man is raised wrong, that the woman that gets that man is going to have to deal with all the residual effects of him being raised wrong. I want to use that same scenario when it comes to relationships or partnerships or friendships. If I've had a friend that I've hurt, 9 times out of 10, his next friend or her next friend is going to have to deal with the scars or the pain that I put them through. And that's not right. You see, when we commit offenses, then we bring that energy on ourselves for it to happen to us again. And when you don't go back and mend those bridges the proper way, and if you don't know what I mean by the proper way, I mean really genuinely apologize. Really genuinely apologize with a sincere heart. A sincere heart meaning that you're never going to try to do that same mistake again. When we don't do that, what we do is open the floodgates for that same energy to be returned to us. See, I know a lot of people that when they talk about being hurt in regards to themselves, they want to stand on a pedestal and shout it to the highest heavens. They post it all on Facebook. Oh, people do me wrong. Oh, I give my heart to everybody. I don't know why I deserve this. Well, guess what? Many times you're getting back what you've done to somebody. If just because you can't remember how you hurt somebody before, don't mean you haven't hurt or offended somebody before. And if you have, if it does come back to memory, then you should go apologize and be genuine about it. Sometimes people revel in the fact that they scarred somebody. One thing I can't stand to see is a damaged woman or a damaged man. Somebody that I know that was full of life, full of joy, full of vigor, and they were hurt by their last relationship. So hurt that they're a totally different person than what I knew before. And it's hard for them to go back. And some people say, well, they're going to have to learn how to get over it. Sometimes it's really hard. It's hard. And you should know that for yourself. And for this reason is why Jesus says, love your neighbor like you love yourself. The 2 new commandments were to love your God with all your heart, and also to love your neighbor like you love yourself. If you love your neighbor, if you love yourself like you've been treating some of your neighbors, then you don't love yourself. If you can go hurt somebody and it does not matter to you, then expect that same energy back on you. And many of you are content with that energy coming back because that's how you love yourself. Do you get it? The reason Jesus abolished the 10 commandments and only had 2 new commandments is because those 2 new commandments would cover them all. If I was to love my God with all my heart, that covers God. And then if I was to love my neighbors like I love myself, that means I wouldn't rob from you, I wouldn't steal from you, I wouldn't murder you, I wouldn't rape your people, I wouldn't do any of those things because I don't want that happening to me. But many times we hurt people, but we don't like to be hurt. We don't want to be hurt. We can't take the same energy that we dish out. So I'm thinking about hurting people or being hurt from the aspect of I want to apologize sincerely and put that into the universe. Apologizing to anybody that I hurt intentionally or unintentionally. And I want to say that with a sincere heart. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to reverse certain energies and certain curses in my life. And the only way to do that is to be sincere about apologizing. And the reason I say that sometimes you can hurt somebody but not know you hurt them, let me use this for example. I used to date somebody, and they used to get so mad when I verbally said something to them that hurt their feelings. They wore their feelings on their sleeves. Now me, I'm a harder person to get to. So if you hurt me, sometimes you don't physically see it or you can't see it, but it doesn't mean I'm not hurt. So whenever we would communicate and I would try to communicate to this person that you actually did hurt me, they would feel like what they did wasn't a big issue. It wasn't a big deal because they didn't see me hurt. They didn't see me cry. But so many times we feel like if we don't see the person's scar, that we didn't hurt them. Or if we don't comprehend or feel as if their pain is relevant. If their pain doesn't resonate with us, then we don't consider that hurting somebody. But you should know what's offensive. You should know what hurt feels like enough to care about the next person and to not want to do it to them. I know we live in 2022 where it's like, forget them. It got done to me, I'm going to do it to them. But we got to go back to the days where you care enough about a person to care about how they feel because you know you wouldn't want it done to you. Hurt people hurt people. Hurt is just like any other disease. Once somebody's hurt and infected with the disease of hurt, they spread it to somebody else, and that cycle continues to go on. So when you hurt somebody else has to deal with that hurt. Somebody else has to take that person and try to manage through all the pain and the scars. That's a hard task. But if it's true what they say, that hurt people, would it not also be true that loved people love people? We live in a world where people are so concerned with the payback, with revenge, with making sure somebody else feels their pain. We need to start spreading the love, because if it's true what they say that hurt people, then we need to counter that. We always need to be countering what the enemy is trying to do, what the enemy is putting into the atmosphere. That's what the fight is. That's what fighting the good fight is. Counteracting what the enemy is trying to do at all times. So it may take some humility. It may take some swallowing of pride. And sometimes your apology may not be accepted, but you got to care enough to let that person know that you are genuinely sorry. Now, if they reject your apology, that's a whole nother issue. But you have to be willing to live with that consequence because you did hurt somebody.